Hello, welcome to Bodhran Basics. I'm Matt DeBlas, and I'm going to talk a little bit about my favorite percussion instrument. First off, what is a bodhran, and how do you pronounce it? Well, the bodhran is an Irish frame drum played in primarily in traditional and modern Irish or Irish-inspired music. It's spelled B-O-D-H-R-A with a little squiggle over top of it, N. And the really important thing is when you say it out loud, you don't pronounce the D. It's not a Bodhran or a Bodhran. Because of the nuances of Irish spelling, the D, when it's next to the H like that, makes a different sound. It acts more like a W as far as I understand. I am not an expert on the Irish language. I'm just a drummer. There are much better resources on the internet for spelling and pronunciation. But depending on your regional variations of Bodhran, Bodhran, you'll hear it pronounced a lot of different ways, but just don't pronounce the D. That's the biggest newbie mistake you can make. Aside from that, it is a frame drum, which means that it is a drum with a membrane, a skin, and a relatively narrow rim. The frame drum is probably the oldest form of drum in the world. You would have seen them pretty much anywhere. You could make a circle out of a branch and stretch an animal skin over it. Just about every culture in the world has some variation on a frame drum, including things like a tar or a rick from the Middle East, tambourines from Europe and the Mediterranean, and the various shamanic drums you'll see in indigenous cultures from the Americas through Scandinavia. It's a very common format. It's really easy. It's a hoop, it's a skin, and the skins on bodhran are mostly usually made out of goat, although like this one is calf skin. You'll see them made out of some exotic leathers like kangaroo, and very rarely synthetics. There hasn't been a lot of development in really good synthetic bodhran heads of late, which honestly those who play outdoors more would be appreciative of, but we'll get there. The thing that distinguishes it from a lot of other frame drums is its playing style, where a lot of drums are struck directly on, like so, or with a stick. The bodhran is primarily played in an up-down motion, or down-up motion, and then the hand on the back of the head modifies the sound. There's, of course, like anything else in folk music and Irish music and music in general, there's a lot of contentions on how the drum evolved, where it came from. Was it originally an agricultural tool that was used as a percussion instrument, or a percussion instrument that sometimes got used as a basket, or various other things? There are some paintings where you see something similar to it being played, at least from the 1800s, if not further back. But the modern playing style and construction kind of evolved in the mid-20th century. And it played the role of holding down the bass and rhythm end of the Irish session or band. A lot of the instruments traditionally played in Irish music were very treble heavy and melody instruments. They would all play the melody simultaneously, and they tend to be smaller portable instruments like flutes, fiddles, whistles, sometimes an accordion or a concertina, or the uilleann pipes, which they didn't have a ton of low end sound, so the drum would fill in that bass for it, and also kind of give you a beat that you could tap your foot or dance to. In modern era, you'll also see some like bass guitar, piano, or guitar mixed in with the various groups, which is great. But the bodhran still holds down the low end and takes care of the beat. And like anything else, there's a lot of different variations in technique and style. And I won't pretend that the way I play is the best. It just happens to be the way that I play, and it works. And so I'm going to talk mostly about the way I play. But there are 4 general approaches to playing it. They all have their nuances and different nomenclature, but just kind of give you the general ways that you can play this drum. The first is the hand style, like you'll see on, say, a tar from the Middle East, whereas you strike the drum directly. That's less common in Irish music. It has its place as an effect, but it's not really generally the way you'll see it played. There is Glenn Velez is a really fantastic player who plays various frame drums, including the bodhran in that style. Then there is the knuckle style, which is using the back of your hand, the knuckles to strike the drum. Gives you a nice rounded tone, and you're just playing up and down just like you would with a stick, that kind of strummy style. This is really common in some circles and popularized, you'll see Christy Moore, the singer-songwriter and folk singer from Ireland, plays this way when he plays the Bodhran. And then with sticks, you have the single-ended stick style, where you hold the stick usually towards the end, and play back and forth with the stick. Then to get rolls and triplets, you just play twice as fast. That's very common in a lot of modern players. John Joe Kelly from the band whose name I forget right now plays that way, and it can be done really, really, really well. Fluke, that's the band I'm trying to think of. The final style is the double-ended style that I want to talk about, and this is very common in a lot of traditional playing. A lot of session players play this way. It's the way I learned to play, and it's pretty versatile, although I do mix and match styles a little bit. You basically, like the single-ended style, you're using primarily, if you think of the stick as a pencil, the point of the pencil to play most of the tunes. But you'll notice I hold it a little bit closer to the middle. Then the eraser end of the pencil is used for triplets. So that's the main technique that I'll be talking about in the coming videos. All right, and we'll see you next time when we're talking about holding the drum and holding the stick. Which, by the way, I'll probably refer to mostly as a tipper, although there's various terms for it too. Tipper, kippin, beater, whatever. I'll call it a stick or a tipper. See you next time.